Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So Jamal Charlo was reportedly down in Florida training with all-time great Hall of Fame fighter Roy Jones Jr. And reports came out about that. He did an interview where he mentioned training with Roy Jones down in Florida. Then when people started talking about it, he came out and said that that's cap, is false, false information, fake news. And which was weird because, bro, we seen you do the interview where you said that you had been training with Roy Jones, and then there's been videos with you and Roy Jones fishing and working on techniques on the heavy bag, doing the mitts, doing shadow boxing techniques and trainings and stuff like that. So right off the bat, just starting this video, we starting off with some weird shit, right? Now, I'm a huge fan of Jamal Charlo, and you see the title of this video. Will we ever see the best version of Jamal Charlo? Now, this guy is still undefeated, world champion at 160, though he hasn't fought or defended his title in, 2 years now? Last fight was against Montiel, which was a war that probably shouldn't have been a war. Very entertaining fight on Juneteenth in his hometown. Nonetheless, it was a war versus a guy that you are levels above in skill and talent. But Jamal Charlo has been dealing with some mental health issues, and I understand that those are heavy battles, and it's not just something that you can just snap your fingers and get over, especially if you've been dealing with turmoil within yourself for a long period of time and you ain't been getting the proper help and ain't been taking proper care of yourself, right? So I understand that these things, that's not something that you could just get over like that. And this has been an ongoing battle with him. I think he's finally coming to grips with it and actually doing things to help himself and taking those necessary steps. At least that's what I'm seeing. But just like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's still some iffy shit going on, which causes a level of concern for me as a fan, because I want to see this guy, as a young black man, I want to see him be the best that he can be. And as a fighter that has loads of potential, talent, and skill, I want to see him achieve his potential, right? I'm rooting for the brother, you feel me? So with all that being said, it's just so much sketchy shit going on. He at the Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford event before the fight, the weigh-in and all that, and you get slapped by Caleb Plant and you just sit there and you don't do nothing. Now, this dude got licensed hands. Now, Caleb Plant is a professional fighter too. But, bruh, you got hands, bro. We done seen you knock a many of motherfuckers out. And you just sit there and you don't do nothing, and you just, just to be quite frank, you look like a hoe. Feel what I'm saying? Just keeping it all the way 100. You look like a hoe. And that's not a good look. You feel what I'm saying? And it's you dealing with all this stuff that you got going on with your family, and we ain't gonna speak about those things, but all of these different things that just keep popping up, it makes me wonder if we'll ever see the best version of Jamal Charlo, because these are the things that have been seemingly holding him back as a fighter. They say a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Well, Jamal Charlo ain't been happy for a long time. And I can see that these things have been affecting his performances in the ring. You going into these fights versus guys that you are levels above, but you fighting down to your competition. When you got in there with Deverenchenko, you showed your merit. You showed your grit, your talent, your skill. And that was a big fight for Jamal Charlo. But since then, he's regressed. And, man, this guy can fight. This guy can fight. You might say that right now, thus far in his career, the best performances that we've seen, you got to throw in the knockout, that famous uppercut that he hit Julian J. Rock Williams with. You know, you got to throw in the Derevyanchenko performance, because going into that fight, I remember it like it was yesterday. A lot of people were picking both Jermall and Jamal to lose that night. Jermall was going up against unified champion Jason Rosario, who had just sparked out Julian Williams, power puncher who come forward and can counter coming forward. And then Jermall Charlo was getting in there with Derevyanchenko, a guy that a lot of people were saying that, you know, man, Jamal, you know, he can't fuck with Derevyanchenko, man. You know, that Eastern European, man, he gonna get up in his grill and make it rough for him. You know what I'm saying? Both brothers were victorious that night. You know, so you got to throw those two performances in as the best version of Jermall Charlo that we've seen, but I think he can be better. If he take his craft as serious as he possibly can, and, you know, his moves outside the ring, man, and he get those things to line up, and you reach that prime, that peak level where the mental, the spiritual, the physical, the work ethic, the mentality, everything just start to commingle, and you become your very best self. Especially when we talking athletics, because that physical aspect come into play. Right now, you 33 years old, you at your physical prime right now. You know what I'm saying? And all those other things should be, you know, catching up to that. But it just don't seem to be that way for Jamal Charlo. You see Jermall, and I hate to compare the two, but I mean, they twin brothers. It's hard not to. Because at one point, Jermall was looked at as the little Charlo, and the one that was, you know, didn't have punching power and wasn't fighting in the big fights and wasn't putting on those jaw-dropping performances like he does now, like he did in the Undisputed rematch versus Brian Castano. Now the tables have turned, and I see Jermall excelling and reaching his peak. I think that last fight versus Castano, that was the very best version of Jermall Charlo I've ever seen. And I think when he get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, win, lose, or draw, because he going up 2 weight classes, he biting off a lot fighting this dude at 168. Undisputed. Trying to be the first fighter to be undisputed in 2 weight classes at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But even then, no matter the outcome, I think we'll see an elevated version of Jermall Charlo, because he's been trending that way. With Jamal, I'm hoping that him taking this time off, you know, with a veteran like Roy Jones, you know, going to get you some peace, man, you know, fishing out there in the outdoors and in nature, and training also, you know, working on your craft, being around somebody who's been at the mountaintop, who's been at the highest level of this sport that you currently participate in, the sport that you done gave your everything to. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, has Jamal Charlo given the sport of boxing his everything? That's the question. Because I don't think we've seen the best version of Jamal Charlo yet. I think this guy's really good, man. And I've been hearing them talking about him fighting Jose Benavidez at 160. Come on, man. They trying to get Jose Benavidez hurt or what? Come on, man. What they trying to do? Come on now. But, I mean, if he take the fight, I ain't mad at it for Jamal, because that's a good little tune-up. Now, he need a tune-up now. He need a tune-up. You been out too long. Things been shaky mentally. He don't need to come back and fight Caleb Plant right now. Although I would love to see that fight next, he don't need to come back and fight nobody that's killing shit or that's been at a high level over the last 2-3 years. He don't need to fight nobody that's been fighting at a high level the last 2-3 years on his first fight back. He need to fight somebody who can go in there and dominate. I want to see if Jamal Charlo can go in the ring versus lesser competition and make them look like lesser competition. Don't be going in there fighting down to the level of competition. You go in there with a smaller Jose Benavidez, who you are more skilled, more talented, you more powerful, you everything better than Jose Benavidez. I want you to go in there and make him look like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you can get in there, go to 168, get in there with Caleb Plant, because you got to do that. The man slapped you in your face and you ain't do shit. Oh, no, you got to see him. You should have seen him on that very day. But y'all both professional fighters. Okay. The only other option is to get him in the ring and make money doing it. He done already put hands on you. Nah, you got to put hands on that man. And if you don't fight him in the ring, hey, man, you got to go see him, period. You dig what I'm saying? So, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Have we seen or will we ever see the best version of Jamal Charlo? What are your expectations with him coming back? You know, I'm seeing some positive things, but then I'm also seeing some inconsistencies with him. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we know that you've been out there training with Roy Jones. Why you on social media, you know, telling Champside that it's fake news when he report the shit that you done came out and said? The brother only reporting the shit that you put out. We see you out there. You got videos out there with Roy Jones. We see what you got going on. You said it in the interview that you were training with Roy Jones in Florida. Now, I hope he not leaving Ronnie Shields. I hope this is just him going out doing a side mission, you know, going to get some games, some tutelage, and then you go back with Ronnie Shields, your actual trainer, because, you know, I love Roy Jones as a fighter, but him as a trainer, nah. Just keeping it 100. You know, he could teach you some stuff for sure, but Roy Jones relied on 100% athleticism. I don't see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't teach Jermall to fight like Roy Jones and he ain't got the athleticism that you had. You feel what I'm saying? So, you need to stick with Ronnie Shields, stick to the fundamentals, maybe bring somebody else in like you're doing Roy Jones, and then, you know, take a little bit of what he got, and then you put it all together and you go do something great. So, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Will we see the best version of Jamal Charlo? What are your expectations with him coming back, man? Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.